just crashed my camper van. Got myself a new kitchen unit, sink and tap that I didn't even plan on buying. Come with me while I potentially waste £1,000 because £700 is what it's just cost me to fit a swivel seat base to my VW Crafter camper van. See? £700 paid from them. Why? Well, it's the only company that make them. You see, in the older VW Crafters, you can get away with just the Mercedes Sprinter one and it swivels around, 120 quid, perfect, done and dusted. But with the new VW Crafter and the MAN TGEs, we have a big fuse box in the bottom, so we can't fit that one. Let's see if it's actually worth it. This is how I fitted it. In the front, it's so easy. We just have to lift them up with these togs just here. We have to get that up. That's just the fuse box cover. We'll yeet that because we've got some modifications to do to that slightly later. Back inside, and we've got the full fuse box, everything's there. That's for our DC to DC charger. We've got 2 bolts there. There's another bolt down there, one there, and from what I can see, maybe some more over there and there. Standard 16mm, straight on them and crack them off. Then we've got to put all the seats down, lift it up in towards the back of the van whilst not hitting any of the fuse box. That's just, see, fold straight back and then straight into the back. And now we have second row seats. So if you ever want to drive and your missus sort of annoys you, we should make sliding seats to go whoosh straight into the back. Online videos say this shouldn't take more than an hour to fit. Now that's obviously if you've got the tools already. One, we didn't. I broke my ratchet, so we ended up having to go screw fix, grab a new one. And number 2, that doesn't take into consideration how long it takes to clean. Baby wipes are always handy. Part of the reason it does cost £700 is because you've got 1 box and 2 box. This piece is a frisbee. We do need that, don't break it. We'll put that somewhere nice and safe. There's also a box that's got bolts and a few bits, very valuable stuff. You've also got a booklet here. Now this is quite cool because this has got your full instructions, but also the test certificate, because they have been crash tested and you get the certificate when you get this, when it arrives to you. This piece with these 6 locking lugs all over it, there's 4 on one side, 2 on the other side, that goes in first, that's your base. This sits on all of the original holes that the original seat actually sat on. And you can't really get it a wrong way because the front corner here, you've got 2 holes. That side, one, and there's just dedicated holes dotted around. We've got to get these screws out of the way. And then it's just a simple case of get the original bolts that were holding the seats in place and basically bolt this seat base down like you would do if the seat was just going back in. Then once you've got them all in, you've got to torque them up to 45 foot-pounds. I don't have a torque wrench. I can't move it, that'll do. Then we come to the next part of the swivel base seat. Looks quite technical. Let's get it out. Then we stole a trick from our boy Axis. This comes with a silicone sachet, a sachet full of silicone grease. You need to draw a little design on the frisbee of your little grease. Use it sparsely. I'll link his video to how he fitted his in the description down below. So now we've got the donut, which you have to put an ample amount of grease on there. It comes with the grease, but it also comes with this bolt too. So you have to put it in through underneath. You've got 2 nylon washers, a spring washer, and it goes into this hole down here, straight up through the bottom, then onto there. Bolt them on with the nylon washer, the normal spring washer. You don't need to tighten this down. We'll come back to this one slightly later. It's just there so that we don't lose it. We move the handle over to the other side. That lifts up this plate here. Then we can look at the bolt. So again, you've got 1 bolt hole there, 1 bolt hole there, and the 4 down there. So that tells you which way around it needs to go. Remember that bolt we put through? Well, we took the nylon nuts off the top and put them through the hole into there and tightened it up. Now we want that tight enough where it'll grip, but not tight enough where it won't turn. Now it's in, it's not bolted, the seat's not bolted to it. We have to pull this handle. This is what lifts the whole thing up so that it will clear the fuse box. We've got a modification to do to the fuse box cover. So we'll lift, that'll lift up, then we can do it. But we do have some proof that I am a man. Solely didn't read the instructions. I've got them now. The instructions are there, the paperwork's up there. Before you even put the base one in, you have to alter the fuse box cover just by chopping off this corner just here on the cover, and that's so that the whole thing can sit down perfectly. So stripped it all out, got that adjusted, put that back in, put it all back together. We're back up to the same spot. It's now time to put that on. So if you pull this handle, the whole thing lowers down, but we need it up so that we can get to the bolt holes, because we've basically got to secure that onto that hole, a few of the holes dotted around. Before it does go on, there is one other trick. Now, the fuse box cover is just there, but if we lift up this seat, you've got this panel work just here, and this lip underneath, that needs to come off. That used to sit underneath the fuse box. Now, if this is lifting and raising and stuff, it's just going to knock the fuse box all the time, so just nip that lip off. I haven't got a Dremel or anything, so I'm just using wire cutters, and it's coming off easy enough. So it's just simply a case of the original bolts have just got the hex key. It's a 6mm hex key with a 17mm ratchet, nut underneath it. Now, when it's fully lowered, the nuts just fit straight into all these grooves that are dotted around. Again, they're the original brackets. With them all tightened down and torqued down really tightly, the seat's going nowhere. We've got to lower it down. So we just lift that handle, put it like that, lock it into place just by pushing it down. One seat down, next seat down, done. Then we've got these retaining screws. One goes there, one down that side, 4 on the back. Line them in and start turning them in. They've literally thought of everything, even the little cutout on the metal framework just there to be able to screw that in easily enough. I have to get a new carpet because that was tucked underneath and we can't really do that here. Either that or I can alter the carpet, I don't know. And the storage space underneath is actually taken up by the entire mechanism. If we lift it up, poof, there we go. Let's go and see what Danielle thinks of the added height. Now let's shut the door. So a quick demonstration on how it does it. We've got the pins down here. We take them out. We've got to take the headrests off, and that's because they're just too tall. They end up hitting the overhead storage. So if we take them off, we can change them at a later date to the Mark IV Golf ones because they'll fit perfectly fine. But if we take them off, that one and that one, then we go back into the front, pull these cords up, and then we get that handle and we just pull it towards you. Lifts this whole seats up. Then we just simply do a jiggery pokery dance, giving it a push and a swivel and a twist, spin it round, and then we simply just pull these back up again. Pull the handle towards you, nice and gentle. It drops down, give it a shake, and it falls into its position. And then the seats are perfectly swiveled. You can sit down perfectly fine. Look at that. That looks massive now. Go on, have a look. Have a look. How cool is that? Now that, I reckon that's actually worth the money, just solely because there's so much technological stuff gone into it, and you can physically see it when you're pulling the handles and the nuts and the bolts and the metal. Everything is secured really nicely, and it's just perfect material. I like it anyway. What do you guys think? I think that's her level of improvement. She's found her spot. It's the next day. We've come out this morning. We nipped down to see one of my friends, Scrappy Ross. He's a van lifer. This is the joy with van life in general. Once you start getting to know a community, especially the local community to sort of where you base, everyone's got their own trades, everyone's got their own aspects. I know this dude because I met him at a car boot sale, got chatting, found out he was on TikTok, I'm on TikTok, we stayed friends, and I've not spoken to him for a few weeks, and then I messaged him randomly yesterday. Has your work got any Mark V Golf headrests? Because I've heard a rumour that they'll fit on the R&J swivel based double seats and they'll stay on while you're swiveling it. And he goes, I've not got Mark IVs, but I've actually got a Mark V Golf right now. Bring your van down, we'll try them out. So lo and behold, I did that. We went down to the scrapyard, Hill Scrapyard in Skelmersdale. I got the Mark V Golf. We've just chucked them straight on. They fit perfectly. I've got the old ones kicking around here somewhere still. And we swiveled it, and they do stay on. So I can confirm, Mark V VW Golf headrests fit perfectly. And they actually look really nice as well. On the swivel base with the R&J swivel base. But we're now coming up with a plan. While we're sat here absolutely loving life, just chilling out after we've eaten our Morrison's food, what to do with this unit. Because I've took the fridge out now. We've got the sink, which we want to replace the sink for the sole purpose is all my crappy paint and stuff's coming off, and it's a bit too big and bulky for what we want. So we're looking for like a smaller sink. Now that we know what we want, we can go ahead and do that. But we want to change the whole unit to be able to fit in a lot more stuff. So underneath that cupboard, we've got all the electrics, the air fryer, the coffee machine, the toaster, the iron. We want to move that into there. We've got to be careful what we put in there because we've got the heating underneath it. We've got some electrics and some water stuff. So we don't want to put too much in there. But if that can move over there, a la toilet molo can go under there. And we're just sort of sat here coming up with a plan, wasting the day away, just chilling out, relaxing, acting all cool, shooting some people out. So we've took the front off the whole unit there, just so I can see the framework, because again, I built this with the intention that it wasn't going to be changed, it wasn't going to be moved around. So I can see the frame now. We've priced up what it would cost to both modify that to what we want and what a new one would cost. And there's only around about £20 difference between the two modifications. So we're kind of looking down the line of just getting a standard IKEA unit just to go in there. But we're looking around on the second-hand sites and stuff like that now, just having a little glance and see what we can come up with. The problem is, from doing this, we're now thinking of more stuff. Showers, cubicles, extra charging sockets, all that sort of stuff. Needless to say, we took a trip to B&Q. This is going to get quite expensive because, one, I'm impulsive. Two, I think I found a cool little Karcher to use. Karcher? I don't know what it's called. But we're trying to work out whether we can do a small, thin unit and then a bigger unit right next to it, or whether it's just worth going for a bigger unit, or whether it's worth going for the drawers. We're still just figuring it all out, working out the prices of everything. Danielle's just found a score over on Facebook Marketplace. Full units, loads of different types, overhead storage units and stuff like that. We've got the right storage unit, the right kitchen units for there that we need, plus drawers and everything like that, plus the worktop, plus everything we need, plus doors to go on the other side of the van to make it all match. It's actually quite a really good setup for a bargain price. So we're thinking of doing that. But first, we drove past Red Line, so we're going to come in and have a nosy around here. And now I've got a van full of kitchen units. While I've got the van on charge, charging up the power unit that's underneath that seat, I decided to dismantle that unit and sort of just get it ready for this one. You can see the sort of style that we've got. We've got drawers all down one side. They're pretty cool because they are soft close. It is night time, so expect it to be dark and poor footage, but how cool is that? Got the head torch on. It's pitch black outside. I'm at my park up. So what I've done, I've got two uprights that come up there and up there. That secured the top of the seat down, but it also acted as the side panel for the unit. So I've took them off, marked out where I've got to cut them, and they're basically going to be supports to hold underneath there. So instead of them being on the end just here, they're actually going to be underneath that. Then I'm going to stick the unit in place. It's got some weight to it, but I'm going to stick it in place and just see how I can secure it down properly. Still don't know why I come up and do all this sort of stuff randomly in the middle of nowhere. I've got like, oh no, I want to go away this weekend with the kids and stuff. I've got to get it sorted now. I know this hasn't sort of been the best video, but so far this is where we've got up to. Now we have got the doors to go on there. We're going to sort that out to make it match and stuff like that, but it's not fully secured in. I've managed to sort the seat out, lower the post down, tucked them underneath. I've got a box off that piece just there. I've secured it directly through a metal bracket into that piece just there, which levels it all off nicely. And I've also secured it to that beam just there. And I'm not being funny, it's pretty damn solid. I don't feel too comfortable with how it's secured now, so I'm going to do some more securing underneath. But it's night time. I'm starving. It's nearly 10 o'clock, but I just wanted to show it off to you. I'm just so chuffed with it. It just soft close everything. Just, oh, well, that didn't even do, did it? There we go. Yes, I am working with a head torch on. So one of the jobs, we're back off a weekend away. We've done the whole unit, that's secured down. We've still got a kickboard to do at the bottom with some heater vents coming out. We've still got a load of controls to do for all the screens that were on it. We've got a worktop to do and the sink. We've ordered a sink. The problem we had, the old sink was just too big, so it just wouldn't fit there. Just now, we've just altered the fridge. We've turned the door around so the door opens off the other side. That was quite a challenge, but we sorted it. Got the worktop, we're just going to cut it down to size. Now this is a little bit thinner than what we want, but we've got another plan for it. It's just the worktop that came with it, but I kind of like the design. It's like, I don't know, feels a bit Christmassy. And on the other side, it's reversible. You've got the design, but in a lighter colour. And then the sink that we've ordered, that'll go, it's a rectangle one, it'll go there, with possibly the tap just there. That's going to look quite smart. But we do have that gap just there, and there's a gap when we close the sliding door, the gap all the way down there. So we're trying to come up with ways now of how to fix it. That's the sort of gist, you can see what I mean. So we've got the upright piece just there, and we just used an offcut from the worktop. And I reckon it looks quite good. All we've done is some big massive screws straight into the actual worktop. But does the door close? Let's try it out. Lovely and snug. There's literally not a gap down there. That's perfect. Now I don't know if I'm going to leave that worktop in that, or we're going to cover it to similar to this, or whether we're going to cover this one. But we've got those doors to go on that side. We're going to do something with the covering of the worktops, but I don't know, I kind of like that. So it's 1:30 in the morning, and today my new sink should have arrived, but it hasn't. I dedicated the whole of tomorrow to get that installed and to finish that unit, but I can't do that now. So what shall I do? I don't know. Let's go get some fuel and figure it out. I've got it. I can go and see my mum. Now my mum's down in Somerset. I mean, that's 4 hours away, 4.5 hours away maybe. But I've got this whole plan of giving her an e-bike, and while I'm there, surprising my dad with another one. And I've got both e-bikes in the back of the van, so I can get that done. If you don't know already, I uploaded a video a while ago saying saving my mum and dad from complete isolation. I'll link it in the description down below. It's actually a really good video, and it didn't really do that well on views. So if you want to go back and have a look at it, feel free. But my mum and dad live on top of a cliff, and there's one way is 1.5 miles to the nearest shop, and the other way is 7 miles to the nearest shop. Well, the short way to the shop, the cliff eroded and took the road with it, so they can't physically get there. So I was going to give them an e-bike to help her get there in the winter. Anyway, I'll tell you more about that in the morning. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to go and do that. Problem is, I don't know where I'm going to stop. I've got like 3 places pinned on the map, all about an hour apart from each other. The closest one's about 2.5 hours away, so I'll aim for there. If I'm still wide awake by the time I get there, I'll head on to the next one, and so on and so forth. We'll see what happens. Morning. This is where I woke up. Just a random car park on some heritage site sort of thing. I don't know. It was Park for Night special. Helped me out last night because I'm driving down the M5 and I'm watching the Northern Lights. Most breathtaking thing you've ever seen. If you ever get a chance to watch the Northern Lights, go ahead and watch it because it's beautiful. And I just, without even knowing, drove straight past the first junction that I needed to come off. But I was still in awe looking at all these Northern Lights flickering around. And then before I knew it, I drove past my second one. So, I'm not tired. I'll go straight round to my third one. 4 hours driving later, open up Park for Night. This is where I stayed. I'm only like 8 minutes away from there, so I'm going to head round there now. There's the sea just over there. If you keep following this road right the way to the end, this is the road that's been taken away by the sea. So by giving them both an e-bike each, when my dad's at work, my mum can still get down to the shop, she can still go do the shopping, she just rides down, and the locals have built like a little pathway that goes around the actual closure. You've got like, well, the closure, obviously the road's gone, but they've built like a mud path going around the cliff, so she'll be able to get around with the bikes. We're nearly there though, just turn left round this corner and then we'll be there. My mum and dad absolutely love those bikes. They were proper appreciative of it. My mum's not very well, bless her. So hopefully she gets well soon and she can go out on the bikes and just love life a little bit more. That's going to help them out through the winter. I feel good about that. I get a product to play around with, to review, to see what it's like. And then if I've not got use for it, or if somebody else has got a better use for it, I just give it away to somebody. Look at that view. It's beautiful, isn't it, that sky? But we're back. It's the next day. We're gearing up for a shift in work before this weekend. We're going to head off to Snowdonia. Still waiting for the sync though. Still didn't arrive yesterday. Still not arrived today. When's it going to arrive? Where's it coming from? Kingdom bloody come. God, it's been one of those weeks. It really has. Oh, I've had some rough times in work. My sync still hasn't arrived. Every have sent me an email saying it's been delayed. It should have been here 3 days ago. And I'm still waiting for it. I can't do anything further until that comes, which has been a pain. I'm sat here now without water. Well, no, I've got water. I'll show you how I've got water in the morning, because obviously you can tell it's what, 4 o'clock in the morning. I finished work at 1:30 and I just needed to escape. Work has just been, it's been rough, but I've come up with this plan. I can't really settle with doing work anymore. I'd love to be able to do my passion, which is this. I love doing this. I hope that comes across well on camera. I really do. I'm probably going to go on a tantrum now, probably on a rant. But I love creating videos, both YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. I love it. I don't know why. I've been doing it for years. Only on this channel for about 18 months. And it's grown really well, actually. I've done other channels in the past and stuff like that. But I've come to this plan that I'm going to start putting some proper effort into this channel now. Because I'd love to be able to do this full time. Not have to go to a single place of work to actually be able to earn a little bit of money. If I can earn my full time living through YouTube, that would be the dream. And that's what I'm going to start working towards. Basically, I've just got to get better at making the videos. And hopefully you guys will enjoy them. Hopefully you guys will subscribe to them and watch them from start to finish, like them, all that normal sort of stuff. And that's how I'm going to be able to do it. But I've gave myself a target. Now, I could say in 3 months I'm going to be doing this, but I know myself I'm going to be working towards that target. But there's a list of things I need before I can do this full time. One, I definitely need to build up my bank account a bit more, just so that I've got enough money to tide me over for the first couple of months while I still get used to everything on YouTube. So I've got that little bit of backup. And number two, so that I've got enough money for breakdowns if anything does happen. I've come up with the idea of after January the 2nd, because that's when the MOT is due up on this van. So I want to get it MOT'd and make sure it's going to be safe for another year before I can just go, right, that's it. No more work, no more regular weekly income. I'm going to be relying solely on YouTube, which is the passion, it's the dream, it's what I've been working hard towards. But now I think I just need to work harder towards it. So I've ordered myself a couple of cameras, not proper cinema cameras or anything posh, just the cameras that I would benefit this. That'll be quite fun when they arrive. I've ordered a few extra bits that I need for the van. Just I've got a cool little idea. They arrived actually, the bits that I need for that, so I'll show you that one in the morning as well if I remember. I'm going off on one. I'll see you in the morning. Every single time I get here, I have to wake up for the sunrise because it's always absolutely breathtaking. So yes, I've only had 3 hours sleep. Let's go and have a look. Look at that. See, it's still quite dark and dull. It's still wet. I've got the heating on. Let's have a little nosy. Whoosh. How cool is that? It's beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely breathtaking. Look at the clouds over the glitters. Oh, that's a full cloud inversion going on up there. Up over Trafan. Wow. This is absolutely breathtaking. I love it. If you want to see any videos of me actually like climbing these mountains, I've done them all in the past. Wow, just look at that. As I said though, let me show you how I'm filling up water at the minute. I've got to go outside and you will notice something special here. I have actually moved spots. Look at how beautiful that is. Just like, yes. Yeah, you may notice I moved spots. That's because parking warden came over where I was parked and decided, we're not allowed to park there, but I was awake. So we've got my hose that connects to the actual tap when I pick the sink, and we've got the switch that I switch it on with. I plug that in, just like that, just turn it on. And remember to unplug it, just so that it's nice and safe. Drain the last of the water out the hose and drop it back in there. Done. I'm going to make myself a cup of tea and start doing some work. I've got some editing to do, I've got some waterfall walks to do, and I'll rejoin you, one, when the sink finally arrives, because then I can put the sink in and the tap, and I can put the kickboard and stuff in there. But I just want to show you the waterfall, because we've had a lot of rain the past couple of days. Look at that one, the whole length all the way down the mountain. If you've not walked up there before, I highly recommend it. It's a bit boggy, but it's highly worth it. You get the best view of the Ogden Valley from up there. There's like a brick wall. Here's a picture. It's just before bedtime. I'm still in Snowdonia and I've just had the notification to say the sink's been delivered. So I'm going to head back there tomorrow afternoonish, and we're going to attempt to get that installed along with the tap and just finish that unit off a little bit. I'm still debating on what to do with the top, whether to leave it like that or whether to go to DC fix just like that. I don't know. We've got a lot of messing around to do, a lot of fiddling and a lot of bits and bobs. I can't wait to get it sorted though. It's just now that I've crashed the camper van. I pulled up to my partner's house, which is where I get everything delivered to, and I was reversing onto a drive. She's got one of these porch things that now has half of my VW Crafter camper van attached to it. And yes, she caught it on her ring. She caught me looking at it and, oh no, what's happened? Then I decided, hold on a second, what about the porch? Now, I hit the brakes really hard as soon as I heard the first little crunch, because that was my reversing camera that sticks out on the back. I thought, right, no, I can just pull forward. So this is me. I have to pull that up to go into reverse. It comes over and into reverse. Now, when I hit it, and I thought, right, I've just got to go into first. And I pulled it up, went like that, went like that. I was still in reverse, but I gave it some full power to try and pull away from the actual damage that I'd done. Instead, I'd reversed harder. The piece of metal just in front of the framework, that side of the framework, bent inwards, left a big gap between the door and the actual framework of the van itself. I got a piece of wood up in there, started battering it with a hammer to get it back to shape, just enough so that the seal of the door would meet the van, just to make sure it's watertight until I can get it down to the body shop. Now up on top of the roof just there, I've got a big plastic piece of brake light. It's basically an upper high brake light, and if that comes off, because it had smashed and it was in a million pieces, I've got big holes there for like the wires to come through and stuff like that. That was all exposed. How do I block them off until I can get it to the body shop? How can I make it watertight? Luckily, I had a bit of gloss black wrap from when I'd done the back doors. I just covered it in that. Hopefully that's going to do the trick. But we are here. Let's get this sink installed. So there it is, just a standard square thin narrow sink. We're thinking something like just there with the tap over here maybe. I've faintly marked it exactly where I need to cut, so I'm just going to drill all 4 corners just so I've got a rounded edge, and just basically follow that with a jigsaw. With the sink in now, we're thinking the tap just here, overlooking in. We just got to figure out exactly where to go, stick a hole through, secure the tap in. I'll tell you one thing with this, right? It's amazing how much I've actually used this hole saw kit. It's only a cheap one. It's amazing how much I've used it throughout the entirety of the build. I've still got to use it to do the plumbing, like, but I've got the tap in, I've just got the fittings to secure it, and then I've got to try and feed a way of getting the cold water supply from underneath and the wastewater supply from underneath up here. So not only is the tap nice and secure, we've got it coming down here. We've had to chop away a piece of that worktop there just to allow for the weight. That weight is so that we can pull it out and it just pulls itself back into spot perfectly fine. We've got the cold water supply coming up, because if you remember, this is only a cold water system at the minute, and then we've got the wastewater coming up. We just now need to connect the waste up there to that somehow. So all we need to do is be able to connect that up to that. We need to go get a fitting for that. That's another day because it's a bit dark outside. We've put the isolation switch just there, and now we've checked for leaks. Does it work? Hey, it does. Next morning saw us having a lovely little trip to B&Q. We picked up this fitting thinking this might be the one to fit it. Chopped off the end. Hopefully one piece will go onto one part of the drainage, the other piece will go onto the other side. It come with a Jubilee clip, so hopefully I should be able to just tighten it all down and see if that works. So let's go and get this sorted, shall we? So all we have to really do is go in this bottom drawer just here and then simply get this fixture, and we're basically going to attach one into one side to the other side, and hopefully the Jubilee clip will be actually able to hold it in place. I don't know. Let's go and have a look, shall we? But it's way too, there's loads of space in there. It doesn't fit, and the Jubilee clip doesn't fit over, and that's it most extended. So if you guys got any idea, I could do with some help on this one. Give us your clues and your ideas. So now we've basically just got the whole sort of, we've got to try and clear the van up. I mean, the van is an absolute pigsty. Check it out. What should have took an hour to fit the swivel seats actually turned this video into a 3-week video. It's literally taken that long for us to be able to do it, but we've cleaned the van up a little bit. We've managed to get the screens installed on the back walls. We've got the sink in, the tap in, which looks absolutely amazing. We've got the unit in with its soft closed drawers, and it does look quite stylish. We still need to figure out how to match the other side, or whether to match the new one to this one. We don't know, but either way, the van is starting to come together nice and slowly now. We can now start planning on how to get this into the body shop and how long it's going to be out of action. It's the typical case of when you start one job, another job pops up, then another job pops up. We've now got to go to the body shop, get a quote on getting that fixed, see how long that's going to be out of action for. Then we've also got the van booked in for a timing belt, water pump change and a coolant leak change. So we've got some money to spend on this van coming up, but it's my home, so you spend your money on your home, don't you? You spend your money on the things you love. If you're new around here, please subscribe. We're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers as soon as possible, just to see if we can do it, really. Peace out, guys.